Welcome to another episode of Amputee Outdoors. Today, we're heading up to a couple of alpine lakes here in Washington State. The trail to Peat Lake is fairly easy, not much elevation gain, and the path is in very good condition. The temperatures were in the 90s on this hike, so just about every stream I came to I was doing this. Dousing my hat in cold streams and putting it on my head. Ooh, that cold mountain water, that'll cool you down real quick. I started my hike late in the day, so I didn't arrive at Peat Lake until 4 o'clock. After admiring the view for a while, it was time to set up camp. Dinner was simple top ramen with some chicken and a beer, but I tell ya, with a view like this, oh, well, that's a 5-star view right there. The next morning, after I've had breakfast and packed up my gear, I walk around and make sure that I've left nothing behind. Leave no trace, that's the rule. Everything looks good, so it's on to Spectacle Lake. The trail starts out much like the hike up to Peat Lake. Fairly low elevation gain, nice trail, well maintained, very pleasant to walk along in the early morning. There are several logs that have fallen over the past winter across the trail. I think someone counted there were like 19. These are mostly easy to get over, not much of a challenge really, but there are a few that, well, they take a little bit more effort. The trail will lead you to Lima Stream. It's actually two streams right next to each other that kind of merge once in a while. It was pretty deep and running pretty fast. I wasn't going to be able to cross that. Fortunately, trees that have fallen across the path have also fallen across the stream further up. So if you take the Lima Meadows Trail and look for this cairn on your left-hand side, there's a trail that leads to where those logs have fallen across the stream. The crossing is a little precarious, especially if you've got a prosthetic leg. But if you've got good balance, good boots, and a pair of hiking poles, it is traversable. Not long after crossing Lima Stream, you're going to be in a part of the forest that was burnt in a forest fire a few years ago. Nature is reclaiming the area. It's slow, but making progress. Be prepared for high levels of UV exposure at this point in the trail. Sunblock, hat, long sleeve shirt, 2 liters of water, maybe 3 or 4. And don't feel bad if every once in a while you've got to stop, catch your breath, and take in the view. I did it plenty of times. I just want to take a moment to say thank you to all those folks who maintain these trails and build things like this bridge here at these waterfalls. I appreciate what you do. We all do. Thank you. After a lot of elevation gain and several stops at mountain streams for fresh water, I finally reached Spectacle Lake, and the view was worth every step. After exploring the peninsula that juts out into the lake, I found a nice suitable campsite and decided this would be where I would spend the night. After setting up the hammock, it was time to get some water and refill my bottles of water because I had gone through a lot. That's 1 bottle of water, 2 bottles, and 3 bottles. I had a 4th held in reserve that I was going to be using for cooking. Those 3 bottles were all that I drank on the way up. After getting my water set up, I decided to take a little nap in my hammock. Unfortunately, I noticed a problem very quickly. The hammock was too far apart on those 2 trees, and so it was starting to sink down and hit the ground. This was not going to work. I relocated my hammock to 2 other trees that were a little closer together, but even these were so far apart that I had to pull the hammock so tight to make it not sink into the ground that my hammock was going to be squishing me in the night. So to avoid the shoulder squeeze, I went to plan B. I went to ground. I used my ground tarp, rain fly, my 2 hiking poles, and of course some cord that I always carry with me, and rigged myself up a open-ended A-frame. My gear I hung from the straps between the 2 trees, and with my A-frame open at both ends I had a breeze coming through to get rid of the bugs. Pretty comfortable, really. With my campsite sorted out, it was time to do my favorite thing when I go camping. Sit and enjoy the view. I'm not sure what it is, but enjoying a meal and a beer next to an alpine lake, well, it just makes the food taste better somehow. After dinner, I relaxed and just watched the sun go down behind the mountains. The one thing with an open-ended tent, of course, is that first light wakes you up, which was fine because I wanted to catch the sunrise. This is probably one of the most beautiful places I've ever sat and eaten porridge. After breakfast and packing up camp, I checked around again to make sure I'd left nothing behind, leave no trace, and then it was time to head home. Thanks for joining me on this hike up to Pete and Spectacle Lakes. I hope you enjoyed the video. And as always, my friends, see you out there.